Chronicles of the Origin System. Excerpt 59. Cyte-09. In the intricate web of Eternalism, two figures stood at the crossroads of survival and sacrifice. Cyte-09 and Quincy Isaacs. These two beings, separated by timelines but united by purpose, reflect the unyielding power of the void and the devastating consequences of the Tenno's struggle against extinction. In the Drifter's original timeline, Cyte-09 emerged as a Warframe of legend. Crafted by the Oricon for shadowy high-risk missions, this Warframe carried no name, only the cold designation, Cyte-09. Infused with technocyte mutations, Cyte-09 was a harbinger of destruction, designed to crush insurrections and outlast enemies in the Oricon's eternal war. Yet when the Empire fell, Cyte-09 vanished into the chaos, its power becoming a relic of a shadowed age. Now reclaimed by the Drifter, Cyte-09 is a weapon of relentless precision, wielded to confront the Indifference and protect the fragile balance of the Origin System. Yet in an alternate timeline, the Drifter encountered Quincy Isaacs, a man transformed into a protoframe by Albrecht Entrati's desperate experiments. Quincy was among the first to volunteer for Albrecht's Helminth serum, designed to imbue humanity with void-touch power. His transformation was both a gift and a curse, his body reshaped, his soul bound to the void, and his humanity teetering on the edge of annihilation. Despite the burden of his new form, Quincy fought to preserve his identity and protect his timeline from the Indifference's creeping shadow. When the Drifter crossed into Quincy's world, they found not just an ally, but a man who shared their struggle against the Void's corruption. Unlike Cyte-09, who existed solely as a Warframe, Quincy remained a being of will and choice. Their bond became a testament to resilience, bridging timelines in the shared fight to secure existence itself. Together, Cyte-09 and Quincy Isaacs represent two sides of the eternal struggle, a weapon forged for war and a man reborn for survival. Across timelines and against the void, they stand as symbols of defiance in a universe where even time cannot silence the fight for hope. As the Drifter and Quincy Isaacs unite against the encroaching shadow of the Man in the Wall, their bond may become the key to unraveling the Void's darkest secrets. They stand poised to confront not just the Indifference, but the very source of the Void's corruption. A battle that can redefine the boundaries of time, space, and humanity itself. Cyte-09, the Soldier of Fortune.
Oh hey Dreamers, fancy meeting you here. Hope you guys are having happy holidays. With that said, this is Cyte-09, our Soldier of Fortune build. Outright damage dealing badass. With that said, let's get right into it. So, we love these skills so much. Seek. Planted antenna that projects a forward wave scan. Detected enemies take increased weak point damage and become visible through walls. Weapons gain punch through. Now, we're going to have a little bit less range than a lot of build you'll see, but it's because we don't really need it. Range 96 meters, duration of 44 seconds, scan duration of 6 seconds, punch through of 16 meters with weak point damage of 191%. This is an utterly amazing build. Gives every single gun that you have innate punch through, also gives everything weak point damage, which is absolutely amazing for the new mods with primary and pistol Acuity. Now we move to resupply. Throw 2 elemental ammo packs that instantly refill the active weapon's magazines, while granting the weapon an additional instance of the selected elemental damage and status effect. Reload clears the effect. Sniper rifles gain extra damage. So, we're pretty much given an elemental variation of Xanta's Whisper. Obviously, we still have the damage reduction and attenuation that'll come with using elemental damage, but we get extra damage, and if we use a sniper rifle, we get sniper extra damage. So in essence, we are almost getting 200% extra damage just from this ability, and then 191% from Seek as well. Now, this will work as a second instance, so your direct shot might not necessarily proc anything, but if they happen to live, resupply will proc. You will get that extra damage hit. So with that, we will be focusing on only one damage type. We will be pushing as hard as we can into electric damage, and I will show you all of that soon when we get to the Archon shards. But having its own variation of Xanta's Whisper is absolutely insane, and being able to select whatever elements you want at any point in time is amazing. You can also give this to all of your teammates as well. They will get the extra damage instance as well. They will get the automatic reloads. You really cannot go wrong with this ability, and it should never, ever be subsumed out. Now, this is where we get to the unorthodox part of the build. So we are subsuming Evade Out for a Phantomize. Now, the reason we are doing this is because the one thing that Cyte-09 does lack is a good armor strip. Now, with this, you could go a lot of variations. You could throw Pillage in, you could do, Terrify, but what better armor strip to use than one that aims down the sights? I can't think of one. So we will get a damage, fire damage increase from this. We will get a defense reduction of 25 seconds, which will increase with our Molt augmented stacks. And then we will get a slow per second of 15%. Now, coupled with the alt fire of the Neutralizer, you are in a just beautiful CC heaven with a Phantomize and the alt fire. That leads us to our final ability, Neutralize. Summon the Neutralizer Cyte-09's Exalted Sniper Rifle. Bullets ricochet off weak points to seek out other nearby weak points. Alt fire lobs a cold grenade that completely freezes enemy. We get a drain per shot. That's completely taken care of with our energy management. We have an alternate fire drain. We have the damage multiplier 4.3x. We have 4 ricochets with a ricochet range of 16 meters. Now, the damage loss per ricochet is at 20%, but with the resupply extra instance, you will never see that damage loss. In fact, we will actually see almost double the damage on a lot of our hits that end up, being in that ricocheted, standpoint. So, it's really kind of amazing how it works out. But they work very well together. So again, subsuming resupply out is a really bad idea because in itself, it neutralizes that damage loss, gives you that extra instance, pushes more into some elemental damage that you're going to be really looking to, completely stack up because we are going to be going for raw damage. Now, we move on to the Archon shards. We are dealing with 5 Tauforged Violet Archon shards at 45% primary electric damage each, with an additional 15% per. Now, how this ends up working out is if you break it down, we end up getting around 600% extra damage because of these shards. So we have 45% per shard plus 15% per other red, blue, or violet. So 5 shards equal 5 times 45 plus 5 times 15. At that point in time, we have 45 plus 75%, and that will equal 120%. And then we get our 5 times 120%, equaling our 600% damage increase just from the violet shards. I mean, you cannot go wrong with that. So there really is no need for any other elemental type at that point in time. Push into what does the most damage, slam into weak points, slam into crits, and just roll around like a boss. We will have some other weapons in here. We will, be using like the Praedos, the Burston, and the Prisma Angstrom. Use whatever you want. It does not really matter. But let's go ahead and check out the build itself. So the Cyte-09 build is going to be centered more around a little bit extra strength, a medium amount of range, and then a kind of mid-low amount of duration. And the reason being is because we don't really need a lot of duration. Our energy management is going to be so absolutely high due to Equilibrium, Archon Stretch, Synth Deconstruct on our companion. We're never really going to have an issue getting energy. So that's going to be one of our main standpoints for being able to kind of bust stuff down a little bit. Now, at 160 range, we're still getting almost 100 meters of seek, and we are getting 16 meters of punch through. We're also getting 16 meters of our ricochet range on our Neutralizer. So we're still able to do just an absolute ton of nuke damage. Obviously, headshots are the game. You have to, really stick into it, and this is a more skill-based Warframe when you really get down to it. Now, that doesn't stop him from being able to nuke and just do an exorbitant amount of damage and really just max out the damage dealt. So we're going to slot in Worthy Camaraderie for our passive. Keep Cunning Drift. We're going to make sure we have Rolling Guard on there because we will need a little bit of survivability. Rolling Guard is going to help a lot with that. And, it's going to make sure that you can get that rolling invulnerability, you can wipe statuses, and it's going to help out a ton. So with 254 strength, we're going to be sitting at 4.3x damage multiplier with Neutralizer. When the Molt Augment stacks pop up, we are going to be looking at around 314% strength. That is absolutely amazing. And that will get us up to right around right around 5x. Now throw in Arcane Rage because we are going to be doing a lot of critical hits. We're going to be doing a lot of headshots. We will get that 180% primary damage all the time, and it's just one more thing that we want to stack on. And ultimately that kind of levels us out on this. We are going to be focused entirely on doing damage. We don't care about efficiency because we have a ton of energy management, and we don't need a lot of range or duration because the skills stack for themselves. Now we're going to move on to our primary weapon. Again, we're not really going to use this too much, but is extremely handy to have. Burst in Prime, one of the greatest weapons ever. Throw in primary Acuity, slot out all that multi-shot. You don't need it. This is an extremely high crit weapon. You want to be able to do critical weak point hits all the time. Primary Acuity, Galvanized Aptitude to make sure you get that 80% direct damage, 2x. Throw in a nice ribbon that gives you crit chance, crit damage, and damage. If you can find one that has those effects on it, then you're going to be sitting pretty. But really, we're just going to be looking to stack crit chance, and then make sure that you're putting Gilded Truth in. 80% fire rate, you get the 25 meter gas explosion, you restore 25% health, and you increase your parkour velocity by 25% for 30 seconds. I mean, it's just an amazing mod. So make sure it's slotted into your person. This is our Angstrom build. It does not matter. This bad boy will kill anything. It will destroy anything. It does so much damage. So again, slot out the multi-shot, slot in raw damage, increase your crit as much as possible. Throw crosshairs in there, get triple red crits. You'll hit for 4 to 900 million. You'll damage cap with this gun. I mean, it's kind of just like, let's keep safe and let's have a secondary weapon just in case. The Praedos is a flex slot. We will not be using it literally at all. What we are using it for is the sprint speed and the parkour velocity, which will be active throughout the whole mission at all times. It's going to be amazing. And again, we're really never going to use melee weapons. So we want something that is going to augment our build, and we're not going to necessarily have to worry about it, which leads us to the VIP of the show, the Neutralizer. Now this build is made for raw, absolute damage. We do not care about anything else. We are slotting in semi-rifle cannonade, vital sense hammer shot, crit delay, serration, hunter munitions, primary acuity, and target acquired for that extra 60% to headshot multiply. The reason we are doing this is because we are going to fully allow these Archon shards to pump up our damage as much as possible. That weak point damage, that weak point crit chance is really going to go a long way. Now keep in mind with primary acuity, we're not actually getting that 350%. We're getting somewhere around 175%. I don't exactly remember why. If I remember correctly, it's bugged, but I really didn't care or look too much into it because it's not something that I just care to worry about. Throwing in hunter munitions because you will get massive slash damage with this gun, and those crits will push you through the limit very easily. Now the cryo grenades, these are amazing. 10 stacks of cold status with a freezing zone that will continue to apply cold status for 5 seconds. Now guys, let me tell you, this thing will kill on its own. So you literally can just spam this bad boy and you will wreck everything around you. But you will definitely increase the damage that you will do with the Neutralizer, and you will have a just mad amount of CC with O Phantom Eyes and this cryo grenade. You can literally run right up to disruption targets, hit them with this cryo grenade, and just sit and hang out while they get armor stripped by a Phantom Eyes. And it is absolutely amazing because the nullifier orbs are not affected by cold. So don't stint on it, use it as much as possible. Make sure that you are stacking damage. We're going to do that with the Archon shards, we're going to do that with resupply, and we're going to do that with Seek. And as you see from the video, it is very easy to hit for hundreds of millions of damage, and realistically you're going to hit for a lot more too. So it's really just a perfect scenario, you know. Now our Naughty Prime, we are going to be slotting in Shield Charger over the Cordon. Yeah, I know, we need pull, we need him to draw in. No, we don't care. We want to live just a little bit longer, we want to be able to survive just a little bit more, and Cordon really is the perfect mod to slot out for that. So throw in Shield Charger, give yourself a little bit more shield regeneration and max shield. We want Duplex Bond on there instead of Tenacious Bond. Again, I know, 1.2x crit multiplier. Oh my god, we're talking about raw damage. Yes, but what is more, the 1.2x crit multiplier or 4 little naughty primes flowing around priming individuals for you. Now keep in mind, guys, they will not be using abilities, but they still shoot the weapon. The weapon still attacks and primes enemies. So throw in Contagious, throw in Momentous Bond, throw in Manifold Bond. Make sure that you are slotting those in because you want to stretch that damage out as much as possible, and you want to make sure that all of these enemies are completely primed for you, and that way you are constantly in a scenario to be hitting for maximum damage. Slot in Synth Deconstruct, make sure that your companion, which is injuring almost everybody, is going to be giving you that 25% chance to get more energy orbs. Just another way for you to have energy management. We are going to be using the Artax. More is better. Now, again, we could use the Diriga, but we want to keep Reinforced Bond in, so we're going to be using the Nautilus Prime and then the Artax. Now, we're not using Tenacious Bond, so we do not have to worry about the crit chance being over 50. So the Artax is able to separate its cold and give us a separate cold proc. More procs, Shivering Contagion, spread the cold as much as possible, get the crit damage. It just makes easy and beautiful amounts of sense. So with that said, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. I apologize so much. My wife, my son, and I were all sick. We got absolutely tore up, so it took me an extra few days to actually get the video out itself, but thank you so much for being a little patient with me. And I wanted to get this out before Christmas so you guys could see what Hairless Persian and I have been running with pretty much since the update came out, which is like absolutely insane. And make sure you jump on Overframe and check out Hairless Persian's video too. I mean, not his video, but all of his guides. He has a massive amount of guides for all the Warframes. It's absolutely amazing. So keep that in mind. I appreciate everything that you guys do. I appreciate all the subscriptions. So with that said, this is Chronicles of the Origin System. This is our Cyte-09 build, and I'll see you in the Void, Dreamers. Merry Christmas.